Starting. Okay, now it's started. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cryptic Corner. Today we are going to be finishing up Ted the Caver Part 2. Now, if you don't know what Cryptic Corner is, and you just stumbled upon this this little episode, then Cryptic Corner is a podcast by Ghostbox Studios, which is his channel. And we take a look at creepy stories from the internet, like CreepyPastas, Reddit No Sleep, and other corners and cracks of the internet. And we also are going to be taking a look at some old scary movies or some of the new scary movies that are coming out. So stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's finish Ted the Caver.
Heck yeah.
So I guess I'll start off this one. January 10th, 2001. Scarcely 2 weeks had gone by, and already we were on our way back out to work in the cave. And we admit we have become obsessed with the idea of getting through the passage. That may be a sign of how exciting our lives really are. It's not that we think there's going to be something great beyond the passage. We just like the idea of being the first humans on the face of the planet to set foot in a virgin part of the cave. Although, if we found a hidden treasure, that would be fine with us. Okay.
Yeah.
So
right,
before we continue, where did we end up leaving off?
I think there. So, I think it's just them mainly talking about like a little bit about caving and what it's like and the kind of the pain and hassle moving the equipment to and from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what our boy Ted finds. Please, I'm assuming his name is Ted. What should we find out? What should we find out at the end of the story? His name was Paul.
His name's Mark. We're Paul. Yeah. But also another thing is, there's some weird rumbling in the cave and wind noises.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It could just be some random cave noise. So
yeah, Minecraft cave noises.
Yeah, Minecraft cave noises are fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Alright, I'll start. We got a late start and drove part of the way in the dark. When I tell people that I go caving at night, they wonder why. They don't stop to think that it's always night once you go inside the cave. All the way out to the mystery cave, we talked about new ideas to speed up our work. B also told me he talked to some caver friends that came up with an explanation about the rumbling noise. They thought it might be the sound of water deep within the cave, possibly a waterfall. They couldn't really explain why the noises seemed to come and go. To me, it was just... Sorry, Travis.
Nah, you're good,
to
bruh.
me, it's just one more reason to get through, so we can solve the mystery. That's what I'm pretty tired of.
So they're thinking there's a waterfall in the cave.
Yeah, running water. Yeah.
I mean, he did say there were deep pockets of water going throughout, like, the connecting veins.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt it that there's like some source of water.
Yeah.
Or spring water. Oh yeah, I need to grab my notebook here so I can write down timestamps too.
Oh yeah, I see a doggy.
Yeah, I see a dog as well. Let's do 4. Yeah, fuck it. 4 minutes. All right. I'll flash the picture up on screen now. This trip we took B's dog, Whip. She is a Jack Russell Terrier. Was not at all concerned about taking the dog into the cave. We've taken her before. She answers the call of nature before we go in, and then waits until we get out again. Oh yeah, my brain had to process that. Also, she is well behaved inside the cave. We simply had to lower her via a custom-made harness until she reached the bottom of the main drop. Then she negotiated the rest of her way down. The rest on her own. God, I'm having problems reading too, bud. She loves to explore, but we won't go out of our sight. She doesn't have a light attached to her, so she has to wait for us. Another reason I didn't mind bringing Whip along was because we planned on putting her into the small hole and see how far into the passage she would go. That's asking for trouble, dude. Oh my god. Hey man, let me bring your dog so we can stick her in a hole that we found in a cave.
Hey man,
That's fucking crazy.
Hey man, sacrifice has to be made for progress.
It's okay if the dog slips and falls. We wouldn't be able to get her back though.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Alright, anyways, that might give
You
us
jump through the hole anyways.
True. That might give us an idea of what is on the other side. We knew that if there were a drop off that we couldn't see the dog. We knew if there were a drop off that we couldn't see, the dog would turn around and come right back out. We thought we might have to do some work on the hole before. Okay, hold on. I gotta get my brain set. We thought we might have to do some work on the hole before even the dog could get through. And then here. Yeah. There we go. And we see Bee's whip near the entrance of the cave.
Good
Okay.
boy, girl.
It's a dog. Dog.
It's a dog, yeah.
It's a dog. Let's drop the dog in the hole.
Feed it the hole.
Alright, man.
Spot working in the dark of night, we were able to rig up and get down pretty quickly. We didn't take as many tools as last time. Plus, we left some in the hole so we wouldn't have to haul them out and back again. I did manage to get 2 more bags for the drill for a total of 4. Also, a few more masonry drill bits. Even with the dog, we made good time getting down. Then something bizarre happened that I can't quite explain.
Okay, this is when we start getting into some weird shit, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The dog began exploring as soon as we let her off her rope. She was in hog heaven, sniffing and darting around our feet. She would run from one person to the other as we made our way back to the work site. At the point, the cave splits into 4 passages. The dog seemed to run out of juice. She stuck right by either B or me. That seemed kind of, hold on. Oh, jeez. Let's, stuck by either B or me. That seemed kind of odd. As we progressed further into the cave, she would only stay by B. She seemed edgy. Well, I mean, dye the fur black. Like, it's not face, Mom. Like she saw something she didn't like. As we approached the short drop-off before the hole, she stopped and would only come further after we coaxed her. The hair on her back stood on end. Finally, as we got within 20 feet of the hole, she began to whimper. Okay, this is a sign that you should go back.
Yeah.
If your dog starts freaking the fuck out like this, maybe you should go back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, her tail was between her legs and she was cowering down on the ground. Strange. I have seen her square off with dogs twice her size. Now she acted as if Satan himself was lurking in the darkness. I figured there must have been animals that used the cave as home, and Whip smelled their scent too bad. I got her upset because now there was no way she was going into the passage. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey man, your dog's freaking. Hey, your dog's freaking out, man. You know,
Strange.
I don't think we can put her down in the hole anymore.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's actually wild.
Yeah. My joke goes on for a while about the progress we were making. The entire time we worked, Whip did not move.
You missed a paragraph.
Oh shit, my bad. It's not important. We don't care about whip. We decided that with this new development, the nervous dog, one of us would work while the other stayed with the dog a few feet away from where we normally rested. We got right back into our routine of drilling, hammering, etc. With our extra supply of batteries, we were able to really push hard on the drill and not have to worry about using up the batteries. This did not make our work any easier, but it did speed things up a little bit. Progress is still slow. I really didn't mind though.
Okay.
My journal goes on for a while about the progress we were making. The entire time we worked, Whip did not move. She just lay there on a rope bag, shivering. She'd whimper from time to time. One thing I didn't think about at the time was that she would not take her eyes off the hole. We should have been more observant of this intuitive animal.
Yeah, no shit. What if a bear managed to make its way down there?
Yeah.
Or something. Then again, I don't exactly know how this hole is shaped, nor would I ever go and venture into a hole.
Honestly, it sounds like a hole. Like the hole's like you can't really access it without rappelling into it.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
So I don't know. Maybe animals can get out because some of them can like do some crazy stuff like that.
Or maybe goblins started crawling into the hole. Like, this is where we keep our goblin horde.
Yeah, maybe it was just goblins.
Yeah, that's what it was. Ted the Caver's story is 100% without a doubt about goblins.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. We are on our 4th battery when the second bizarre thing happened to us. B was working. He had just finished drilling a hole and was getting ready to hammer the bullpen when he stopped working and looked into the hole. I was kicking back, almost asleep, and hardly paying attention to B. He had a light by his side to illuminate the work area. I could see in the eerie glow a puzzled and intense look on his face. He looked over at me and shook his head. I asked him what was up. He said that he swore he just heard a strange noise emanating from the hole. He said it sounded like sliding on a rock, sort of a grinding sound. I assumed his ears were just ringing from the drill. He didn't wear any earplugs on this trip. He assured me he heard what he said he heard. I didn't have an explanation, so I went back to dozing. B sat in the quiet of the cave for a long time before he reassumed work. He would also stop from time to time and just listen. B is very grounded and not one to pursue some imaginary sound. I believe he heard something, but I'm not too concerned about what it was. I assume we will figure it all out once we get through the passage. I told you, goblins. They're carrying around their potato sacks.
Throwing around. Yeah, dude. They're the only ones that can fit through the cave hole.
True and real.
Mm-hmm. The found battery lasts another hour or so. We're sitting around talking about our progress when I decided to see if I can get my head through the hole. My head easily fit, but there's no way my shoulders were going in. As I was kneeling there contemplating how close we were, I noticed something that B overlooked. The wind had stopped. And all the times I've been in the cave, I always felt the wind blowing. The last time we were out working in the cave, the wind was blowing worse than ever. Even earlier we remembered the breeze cooling us off, but now, nothing. B said he did not know when it stopped. The rolling has ceased too. Bizarre.
Okay. So, I don't know how common, airflow is in a cave. The rumbling, I don't know, dude. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a geologist. I don't know rocks. I don't know caves. So I'm not even going to try. Oh.
Yeah.
I almost knocked over my water. Holy shit.
That scared?
No, I was just going to grab my pen because I gotta write down another timestamp.
Yeah.
This plain old cave was becoming mysterious. We've talked for a long time in the dark of the cave. We debated what could possibly be causing these unusual events to occur. I think part of the reason we were sitting in the dark was because we were both too hammered to move. We could wait, so they were drunk in the cave? Or they probably mean tired.
Wait. Oh, yeah, they just mean, physically, be.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. You know what'd be funny? If like this whole series was chalked up to Ted and his friend just being drunk in a cave and they're like, oh, we saw goblins in the cave.
That'd be very scary. Power tools and alcohol do not mix.
Yeah. We could come up with no reasonable explanation for the strange things happening in the cave. After sitting for at least half an hour, we slowly loaded up our gear and started for the surface. Whip couldn't have been happier to get out of there. Once again, we left some tools in the cave. We just put them in the hole. Not enough people use this cave to worry about. Okay. Not enough people use the cave to worry. Okay, I thought I was having like a seizure for a second, and not reading the sentence correctly, but that's how it's worded. We were too tired to care. We made a lot of progress on this trip. It helps to have the extra batteries. We still have a long way to go, but it sure is nice to see how far we've come. And you know, there is another picture of the hole, which is
growing.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like a hole anymore. It kind of just looks like a square.
The square hole.
It's a square hole. Yeah.
The rest of the journal entry talks about climbing out of the cave, getting a room amulets out, and crashing. We were beat. In retrospect, I can't believe how casual we were about everything that was happening in the cave. At the time, the only thing we could think about was getting into the passage. Everything else was just a minor distraction. I do recall thinking it was be nice to get in and see how the mechanics of the cave work, where the wind was coming from, what was making the noise, etc. Now, weeks later, I think my ignorance and naivety. I think of my ignorance and naivety in shiver.
Okay. So something probably bad happened.
Yeah.
I can get this one.
Yep. Yeah, we'll figure it out soon.
March 3rd to the 4th, 2001. It took us 3 weeks before we got back out to the mystery cave again. Our attitudes have changed a bit since we first started the project. In the beginning, we looked at the whole thing as a fun adventure. Since the last trip out, we found ourselves taking a more serious approach. On the drive out this time, our conversation was a little more subdued than before. We hadn't talked much since the last trip. Not for any reason but scheduling conflicts. Okay. So... I mean... I'm having a hard time processing this sentence. Yeah, I'll process it later. Instead of discussing ways of getting through the passage, we found ourselves talking about the rational explanations for what had happened. Neither one of us had any ideas that would explain the unusual occurrences we experienced on the last trip. We were amused to find out that neither one of us had talked much about the last trip to other people. This is a complete reversal from the other trips. It has been fun to report to friends and families about our progress. It was always fun to tell people about the tight squeeze, and we are going to have to go through the tight squeeze we are going to have to go through to get into the passage. Most people have little desire to voluntarily subject themselves to incredibly tight spaces. Yeah, you don't fucking say.
Yeah.
Actually, neither do I, but I will do it in order to get to the other side. Good motivation. Dude, you go caving for a hobby.
Lad.
Yeah, he literally goes caving for a hobby. Like, he's already fucking insane.
Hey man, are we all a little insane?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, your thing is literally a clown.
No.
Clown boy. Anyways, we left town early in the afternoon to beat traffic. I don't really recall what time we finally got to the cave. Like I said, the mood was subdued and we got rigged up and started down. Excuse me, my nose is bothering me. Obviously, B left the dog at home this time. We took essentially the same gear as last time. We left some of the tools in the hole to save our backs the agony of hauling the extra weight. Give me a second, my nose is bothering me.
Alright, take your time. I can continue if you want.
It's good. I just need to find out.
Right
Actually, wait. Even with the gear, we got down in good time. We really have a good system for getting up and down. There's only one minor mishap this trip. B scrapes his arm on the descent. Not really bad, fortunately. He waited until we got all the way down the hole of the past ship. It was just a superficial cut. While I was getting the wound cleaned up, I started working. We both took note that the breeze was back and the rumbling present. We had 4 fresh batteries and 4, or maybe 3.5 fresh arms. I had high hopes this would be a better day. It started out pretty slow. When we first started working on the hole, the thickness was about 3 inches. As we enlarged the hole, the thickness has increased. As a result, our progress had become slower. Still, we continued with as much energy as we could put into the work. The hole is big enough at least for me to put the hammer into the hole for reference. Then the camera into the hole to take a picture of Floyd's tomb.
Floyd's tomb. And that is
name.
That is the oh my god.
That
They're
is
gonna try
very
and
tight.
fit through that. Ain't
Damn.
no fucking way. It is difficult to get the exact feel of the tomb, but the lowest point near the back of the picture is about 7 inches high. The width is about 20 to 24 inches. The hammer is a small 5-pound sludge. Note the abundance of rock on the passage floor. There is no way in a million fucking years you would get me to slide my fat ass through that hole. Even if there was fucking treasure on the other side. Ain't no fucking way.
I think I could do it.
You're fucking insane. It's
If
been
there's
nice.
treasure, I'll do it.
You would do it just for fun?
No, if it's for treasure.
Dude, I'll be guarding the passage. I'll be like, "Aye, dude. Like, you can go in. I'll tie a rope to you. If you get
Sure.
stuck, just tug it."
Travis, what? Well, I don't think I would be able to tug it because my arms would be stuck at my waist.
You can like use your feet to kick it and shit.
Yeah, I'll like do Morse code on by tugging it.
It's like, oh shit, he's stuck. Let me just go like, into where I'm comfortable and I'll try to play out.
Travis, help! A bat's shitting on my face.
Alright, next paragraph. It's been nice to see the pile of broken rocks below the hole. What? Okay, hold on. It's been nice to see the pile of broken rock below the hole get bigger and bigger. We have both realized that we are just going to have to put in a certain amount of work in order to get through. So we just get down to business. We don't usually talk much while we work since one of us is making a lot of noise with the drill or hammer. Break times are used to chat momentarily about whatever topic pops into mind. The breaks take place whenever the guy that's working decides to switch roles. We both put in some pretty good work sessions. I have a little more stamina than B, but he gets just as much done in a shorter amount of time due to his upper body strength. We celebrate the small victories we encounter along the way whenever a section we've been working on crumbles. We cheer on the rare occasion that a fist-sized rock falls from the entrance. We hoop and holler. That's one small chunk of earth that no longer separates us from whatever lies on the other side. I still harbor the fantasy that there is a hidden interest to the other side of this passage, and years ago, Spanish explorers hid their treasures in the cave and sealed up the entrance, and it has remained untouched until we find it. B has a more realistic, although more mundane theory. He figures there is more cave on the other side, and we'll see who is right. I think B's right. I think it's just gonna be more cave.
Don't ruin that fantasy for me, Travis.
I think it's just gonna be more cave. There's no reason to continue.
Probably
There's no reason to continue.
the sense of discovery. This trip out, I wanted to see if we could speed up work by using larger masonry bits. I purchased some good sized ones at the hardware store at a good sized price. One was larger in diameter than all the rest. The other was smaller around but longer. I had pretty much concluded that the big one might be too big, and I was right. We tried to get to go into the rock, but progress was very slow. We tried pushing all we were worth, and all we got was tired. The larger bit just created too much friction area for our strength. It might have worked with a hammer drill, but we didn't have one. The longer bit worked fine with our drill. We relied on it for most of the work we did this trip. I thought we were going to be out one bit in the drill in my hand. When the bit broke off towards one end. Sorry, my brain's trying to process it.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was pushing as hard as I could on the drill with the bit a few inches in the wall when it snapped. I nearly ran the drill through the wall from the pushing so hard. We were able to retrieve the bit and keep using it, minus a couple inches. It still worked great. Only once in a great while did we resort to hammer and chisel. Work was proceeding as normal until about the time we were on our fourth battery.
I don't see why they just don't take in like one of those mini jackhammers.
They literally explained it earlier. It's too heavy.
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
A thrift shop. Get one of
It's
those
like
shitty ones.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a pretty long one right here. All right.
You want? Oh.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I was kneeling down and working the drill slowly into
I'm
the
gonna go back
wall.
real quick, actually.
All right. You want me to wait for you? I can pause the video.
That's up to you.
Okay, and we're back after our small break. Turns out we're not going to finish this today because there's so much more to this story. So we'll finish up till the next chapter, which is the next entry. And we'll pick it up next time, but probably not until we do the horror movie reviews. Because I want to get to those as well so we don't burn out on Ted the Caver. So I will pick up where we left off. I was kneeling down and working the drill slowly into the wall. At the time, I had my earplugs in, my safety glasses on, and I was lost in my own thoughts. Suddenly, over the squeal of the drill wearing down the rock, I heard a strange noise. It was loud. I could hear it over the noise of the drill, even though I had the earplugs in. At first, I thought it was just the drill bit doing its job on the cave. It would frequently complain by screeching and whining as we forced it into the wall, but this was different. It took me several full seconds to comprehend that this was coming from inside the hole, not the bit. I stopped drilling and yanked my earplugs out just in time to hear the most terrible scream I've ever heard trail off and echo into the darkness of the cave. I stared wide-eyed at the hole for several minutes. It didn't move, nor did I breathe. I turned to look at B. Moments earlier, he had been lying on the rope bag, catching a nap. Now he was standing upright, mouth open, with a look of concern on his face.
Dude, it's fucking them goblins, dude. They're seeing.
Hey, Jared, I think your microphone kind of bugged out. I think it's better now. Say something?
I think it's some goblins singing.
Oh yeah, dude, the goblins be screaming.
No, they're singing. Goblin throat singing, man.
It's like, what is it called?
Mongolian
throat singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned and looked into the hole again, half expecting to see a demon face staring back at me. Nothing was different in Floyd's tomb. I fixed my gaze on the back of the squeeze. Where the limits of my head reached, there was no motion. Only darkness beyond the reaches of my light. In complete silence that followed, I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. Not another sound could be heard in the cave. Suddenly, I heard a scraping noise behind me and straightened up. I nearly knocked myself out, hitting my head on the overhang. It was just B, moving to turn on his lights, but I was so wired, it nearly sent me to my grave. B spoke, and again I jumped. He said to get some rocks and put them into the hole. He explained that whatever animal had made that noise might be able to come through this way. I immediately grabbed a few rocks and hoisted them through the opening. Using the handle of the sledgehammer, I slid the rocks as far back into the tunnel as I could reach, creating a wall between us and the other side. Since the squeeze is so small, it didn't take long. The entire time I was doing this, however, I was thinking that the noise certainly did not come from an animal. I didn't know if B really thought it was, or he was just trying to convince himself. I didn't say anything to him about what I thought. From the time it happened to the writing of this journal entry 2 days later, I have tried to come up with possible source for the noise to describe it, I would say it sounded like a cross between a man screaming in fear and a cougar screaming in pain. It sounded like it came from the hole and was roughly 100 feet away. The horrific noise reverberated through the cave in my ears. B estimated the scream lasted around 8 to 10 seconds. My best guess is about 5 seconds. 3 seconds while I was drilling, and half a second to drop the drill and yank the earplugs out, and half a second of sheer terror. It's difficult to tell how much time passes when you're listening to a solo from the depths of Hades. Yeah, and they're gonna go back. I bet you they're gonna go back, man.
Starting to get pretty crazy, man. Yeah. So we're starting to pick up. After I filled the back of the passage's rocks, we just sat there listening to the silence. My breathing was a lot more rapid than usual. Neither of us spoke for quite some time. Finally, V suggested we go back to work, but kept an eye out for movement in the hole. Yep. We put a light in the passage that shined to the back of Floyd's tomb. It was only at this point that we realized that the wind had stopped again and the rumbling could no longer be heard. To say I was nervous would be an understatement. I didn't say anything to B, nor him to me. Back to the drilling, B took over the work, which is fine with me.
Wait.
Yeah?
They heard a terrifying noise, and they're going back to
Fallacy,
digging?
man. Sunk cost fallacy, man. They put a lot of effort into this, man, and they wanted to see the fruits of their labor.
I would be gone. Are you kidding me? I would be gone.
Yeah, well, people are still playing Star Citizen.
True, dude.
Exactly. Alright, check find out where it was. Okay, I was exactly worn out, but I didn't mind being farther from the hole. B would stop from time to time and listen. I just sat watching him with my light on. I wasn't close to the entrance to the hole, but I still found myself looking behind me down the passage to the still water. Every time my light would cast an unusual shadow, my heart would jump. My imagination was running wild. Oddly, B seemed to be less concerned about the strange noise in me. After a short time, he seemed to be focused entirely on getting through the passage. I was still straining to listen above the sound of the drill. I heard nothing but the now familiar sound of the carbide on stone. As I contemplated the possible scenarios which might play out on the other side of the passage, I found myself strangely getting somewhat excited again about getting through. It might have been fatigue taking its toll on my mind, or the thought of something valuable on the other side.
Alright.
Yeah. My thoughts were broken when B let out a yell, possibly a cuss word. He said the drill battery was dying and he hadn't quite broken off the large relative section he was working on. He set the useless drill aside and picked up a hammer and bullpen. He started welling away the hole created by the bit. After nearly 10 solid minutes of hammering, he sat back against the rock, sweating and nearly out of breath. The bullpen was still protruding from the cave wall. He held the hammer towards me, inviting me to take a few swings. I held him up my hand and shook my head. I've been ready to exit this cave for quite a while now. He didn't press the issue, and without speaking, we both started gathering the gear we were going to take out. Once again, we stashed some of the tools in the passage. I was the first to start towards the top of the cave. Several times I had to stop and wait for B. Not because he was moving slow. I was just more than eager to get out. A few times I felt better than that night. A few times I bet. Speak! A few times have I felt better than that night, stepping out into the chilly night air.
Alright. My journal talks about the rest of the evening, our dinner, our decision to get a motel, and come back the next day, our lengthy discussion on the strange sound we heard, another mediocre night's sleep. I cannot believe that we were so willing to get right back into the cave after hearing the scream. Part of the reason I went along with the idea was because B seemed so indifferent to any possible danger, even if we're an animal, which I did not believe, but could offer no better explanation. We weren't we possibly putting ourselves in harm's way? In retrospect, I still have difficulty understanding our thought process at the time. We were just too eager to discover a virgin cave passage. I now think it can be summed up with one word: testosterone. And that is when we're stopping for today. Next time we'll pick up will be February 13th.
Hell yeah.
Thoughts on the story so far?
Very good.
Very good.
It's a slow burn, but very good.
Oh yeah, no, there's so much information I have to process with this fucking story. I like it. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still have quite a ways to go, so this might be a 4-pointer. Well, no. Unless you
Figure it out.
Look at that.
Figure it out.
Look at this over here, dude. We have so much to go to.
Hey, it's about the journey, not the destination.
True.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
That has been Cryptic Corners from Ghostbox Studios. We have been your hosts, and that's it. Peace.
Yeah. Sorry.